So airline passengers don't have to wear masks anymore, and you no longer have to wear a mask on buses here in Springfield. Sangamon Mass Transit District announcing that no longer are they requiring masks. Now, all of this because of a judge down in Florida that ultimately decided to rule against the CDC extending their mask mandate on public transportation. And word yesterday was that apparently President Joe Biden is going to appeal that, even though they had said they're only going to have the mandate in place for just a few more weeks. Kind of fascinating. But of course, that was met with a lot of cheers. This is just one example of a JetBlue flight where they announced it.
Announcement a few minutes ago. Some of you may have seen the press release today that a judge overturned the mask mandate. My company announces at this moment, if you choose to, you may remove your mask.
That's just one example. I mean, you can find dozens of these videos all across the country of airlines saying, all right, no more masks. And even like stewardess saying, celebrate and people clapping. Now, people can wear their mask if they want, but it's no longer going to lead to families getting kicked off of airplanes for their 2-year-old not being able to wear a mask properly, or people getting put on no-flight lists because they may have questioned the mandate and so on. So interesting to see this as it's going to play out, and we'll see indeed if U.S. President Joe Biden wants to ultimately appeal this. But how's it impacting, of course, here locally? As I mentioned, SMTD, they announced that they are indeed not requiring masks. On their website, they say that masks are no longer required to board SMTD vehicles. The Transportation Safety Administration's withdrawn the mask mandate extension for public transportation. Automated public service announcements played on buses regarding masks can be ignored. They should probably just go ahead and do what they can to take that public service announcement away if they haven't already. But as you're hearing in the news here with WMAY as well, the drivers, I'm sure, are relieved that they no longer have to try and enforce this. Also, kids on buses. Really, the buses that I've seen drive by, the school buses around my village, I haven't seen them wearing masks for a while, even the bus drivers. But no longer is that going to be a requirement on school buses. Now, when I was looking at this yesterday, the announcement coming from Chicago O'Hare International Airport included the other airports in Chicago as part of the Department of Aviation. They said by Executive Order 2022-06, face coverings are required to be worn while in public transportation. But yesterday, Governor J.B. Pritzker, he was asked about this at a separate event. And he said that, the mask mandates rule down in Florida, he said that it kind of went against the efforts of the CDC to have the mandate in place. So they'll continue to review things. And here's what the governor had to say yesterday early in the day. This was during the budget signing event, but he was asked about the mask mandates and what's going to happen in Illinois when it comes to transportation and the mandates that he's had in place.
No additional thoughts. I think the federal government has, as you know, they had extended for 15 days. There was a ruling yesterday that interfered with that. But our plans and our mitigations are in place as they have been. We want to encourage local governments and businesses to take actions that they think will keep their patrons, their local residents safe. And we're going to continue to report on how we're doing as a state. Very importantly, so that people can take the kind of mitigation measures home and decide for themselves how they want to operate.
So that was the governor yesterday, earlier in the day, being asked about the mask mandate and what it means. He says that policies are still in place in Illinois, but then later in the day, he put out a message saying that he is modifying his executive order on this. He said, as a result, his office says, masks are no longer required on public transit, in public transit hubs, or in airports. Executive Order 2022-06 will be amended to reflect these changes, his office said. Local municipalities retain the right to establish their own mitigations, including masking requirements on public transportation. So we'll see how this plays out across the state even. Again, SMTD announcing that no longer are masks required and to disregard any public service announcements that are played on the buses. So that's kind of fascinating that they still have that posted. But what about the Chicago airports? O'Hare being the largest, of course, and Midway as well in that area. Are you going to be required to wear it while walking around the airport? But once you get on the plane, you can take it off. Can you take it off after you get out of Chicago airspace, or how's that going to play out if indeed the Chicago airports keep their mask mandates in place? Also, how's it going to play out in the courts with President Joe Biden looking to appeal the Florida federal court judge? So we'll watch this again, keep it forefront as we are now more than 2 years out from the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is Springfield's Morning News. Thanks so much for hanging out, and always good to hear from you. You can reach out to me anytime, bishoponair@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air, and you can connect that way. But sometimes the best time to get a hold of us is live and local here on WMAY. That phone number is 217-629-7970.